This is the silent killer. It doesn't make a noise. It doesn't send you a bill, but it eats your retirement alive. He told me, I have less stuff, but I feel richer than I ever have. Most people think retirement planning is entirely about accumulation. Saving more money, buying more assets, and stuffing your accounts until they burst. But the truth is, a successful retirement is just as much about subtraction as it is about addition. It's also about letting go of the heavy, expensive things that weigh you down. Let me tell you about John. John was a poster child for the American dream. He worked 40 years in management. He bought a big house in the suburbs, had a boat for the weekends, and kept every investment product his advisor ever sold him. But 2 years into retirement, John wasn't happy. In fact, he was drowning. Between 2021 and 2023, instead of traveling, he was managing contractors for his roof. Instead of fishing, he was fixing the boat engine. His blood pressure was up, his cash flow was down, and his assets were actually liabilities in disguise. He realized that if he didn't simplify his life, he wouldn't just run out of money. He might not even live long enough to enjoy it. Today, we're going to deep dive into the 5 things retirees should seriously consider selling immediately. Holding on to these can quietly destroy your financial freedom. And stick around for number 4 because it's the one most people think is their safety net, but is actually a trap. Number 1 is the most emotional asset on this list, your oversized primary home. If you're living in a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house with a huge yard and it's just you and your spouse, or maybe just you, that house has likely switched teams. It's no longer working for you, it's working against you. Let's look at the hidden inflation of homeownership. It's not just the mortgage. In fact, many of you have paid off the mortgage. You think you're living free, but are you? Think about property taxes, which rarely go down, insurance premiums, which have skyrocketed in the last few years, maintenance, repairs, lawn care, heating and cooling, 3,000 square feet when you only live in 3 rooms. I call this the museum effect. You end up becoming the curator of a museum nobody lives in. You're dusting rooms that you don't use and heating hallways you don't walk through. The data studies show that downsizing retirees can reduce their monthly housing overhead by 23 to 48%. Imagine freeing up an extra $1,500 a month by just moving to a more efficient space. That's $18,000 a year of tax-free cash flow. Now, I know what you're saying, but this is the family home, the memories. I get it. It took me a long time to get to the point where I could sell my first home because there were so many memories and sacrifices that I remember taking place there. But ask yourself this, do you want to leave your kids a house that's falling apart because you couldn't afford the upkeep in your 80s? Or would you rather leave them a clean inheritance and memories of you traveling to see them now? Selling isn't giving up. It's upgrading your life from maintenance mode to living mode. Number 2, high-fee, complex investment products. This is the silent killer. It doesn't make a noise. It doesn't send you a bill, but it eats your retirement alive. I'm talking about actively managed mutual funds with high expense ratios, variable annuities, or legacy accounts you haven't looked at in close to a decade. The math of 1%. Let's do some quick math. If you have a $500,000 portfolio and you're paying 2.5% in total fees, which is common if you have active funds that are managed plus fund fees, that is $12,500 a year leaving your account. Over 20 years, assuming a 6% growth rate, that 2.5% fee doesn't just cost you the fee, it costs you the growth on that fee. The difference between paying less than 1% in fees, like an index fund, and paying 2.5% in fees can mean your portfolio runs out 10 years earlier. In retirement, the goal shifts. You aren't trying to beat the S&P 500 anymore. You're trying to beat inflation and preserve capital. If you are utilizing a fund that charges 1% plus, but has underperformed the market for 5 years, why do you still own it? Loyalty to a fund manager? Popularity amongst friends? Or do you need to book a consultation with my team to have it reviewed? Selling these doesn't mean leaving the market. It means swapping expensive or complex investments for cheap and simple ones, which works just as well, if not better. Move to low-cost index funds or ETFs, or have an advisor help you get into separately managed accounts for compounded growth for yourself. Number 3, the dream toys, RVs, boats, classic cars, and vacation cabins that aren't really being used. We buy these things because we buy into a fantasy. We think, when I retire, I'll be on the lake every weekend. But here's the reality check from what I've seen with my clients. Usage versus cost. An RV or a boat is a depreciating asset that demands a monthly rent from you even when you aren't using it. Storage fees, winterization, insurance, fuel, slip fees. I know a couple who bought a $100,000 RV for retirement. They used it for 2 summers. Then health issues made it difficult for driving. For the next 3 years, it sat in storage, costing them $300 a month plus insurance. They lost $40,000 in depreciation and thousands in fees before they finally sold it. The 1-year rule. Here's my challenge to you. If you own a toy right now, let's look at the last 12 months. How many times did you use it? Divide the total annual cost, which is insurance plus maintenance plus depreciation, by the number of times you used it. If you took the boat out 4 times and it cost you $4,000 a year to keep, that's $1,000 per boat ride. You could rent a luxury pontoon for a fraction of that and let someone else clean it. I'm speaking from personal experience here. I had a couple motorcycles in my day, and while I noticed I wasn't riding it as much anymore, it still took me 2 years to get the courage to actually sell them. Don't be like me. And don't retire into debt or cash flow stress because you can't let go of the idea of the toy. Sell it. Take the lump sum, go on a trip where they'll bring you drinks with umbrellas in them. If this video has you thinking about what's best for your retirement, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Number 4 is tricky, and it's for my business owners. I want you to sell a business that you're stuck in. This is the golden handcuffs of retirement. You built this business. It's your baby. It generates cash, but you're tired. You're burned out. The mistake many owners make is waiting too long to sell. They think I'll just work part-time. But we know small businesses don't respect part-time. If you are the key man or woman, if the business can't run without you answering the phone, you don't actually own a business. You own a job. And it's a job you can never quit. If you lose your energy or your health declines, the business often suffers immediately. We call this the declining asset trap. Revenue drops, clients leave, and suddenly the business is worth less exactly when you need to sell it. Selling at the top when you still have energy and the books look good is the smartest retirement move that you can make. Even if you don't get the unicorn offer you dreamed of, taking a smaller payout today to get 100% of your time back and limited stress is often a better trade than working 5 more stressful years for a slightly higher price. Ask yourself, am I working for the business or is the business funding my life? If you're serving the business, it's time to put up the for sale sign. On average, it takes about a year to sell a business, so you'll have plenty of time to say your goodbyes while you're in the selling process. Number 5 might surprise you. Your old life insurance policy, specifically high premium whole life or universal life policy. Life insurance is a tool to replace income if you die prematurely. It protects your dependents. But look at your life now. Are your kids 40 years old and self-sufficient? Is the house paid off? Does your spouse have access to your pension or 401k? If the answer is yes, who are you insuring? You might be paying $3,000 or $5,000 or more a year in premiums for a death benefit you no longer strictly need. That's $5,000 a year you could spend on living. You have options here. Option 1, cash surrender. Take the cash value and run. Option 2, then 1035 exchange. Move that cash value into an annuity tax-free. Option number 3, life settlement. In some cases, you can actually sell the policy to a third party for more than the cash value. And option 4, reduced paid up. Contact your life insurance company and exercise this non-forfeiture option, which allows you to keep the insurance in place, typically at a lower death benefit, in exchange for you no longer making premium payments. Don't pay premiums out of habit. Make sure every dollar leaving your account buys you protection you actually need today, not protection you needed 30 years ago. But whatever you do, try not to just let the policy go and stop making the payments. If you've been paying into it for any amount of time, see what you can get back out of the policy. My team is always here if you need support. You can book a call below. Retirement is the time to lighten your load. John, the man I mentioned at the start, he eventually sold the big house. He sold the boat. He simplified his portfolio. And he told me, I have less stuff, but I feel richer than I ever have. Go ahead and assess these things in your life. That oversized home, those high fee investments, the expensive toys, the business that owns you, and the unnecessary insurance now. I have a question for you, and I want you to be honest in the comments below. Which one of these 5 is the hardest for you to let go of? Is it the house full of memories or the business you built? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. If this video gave you a new perspective on your retirement plan, please hit that like button. It helps other retirees find this message. Subscribe for more honest money talk, and I'll see you in the next video.